Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I know we could still have some schools coming in as the program goes, but quick introduction, I'm Rob Coverdale. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Riggs High School, and so obviously welcome to our Riggs students, but welcome also to all of our guests. A couple of things, please, as a reminder, this is a theater, so we ask that that there be no hats or hoods on while in the theater. Also, obviously, cell phones, be sure that they are turned off and they're left off during the entire program. And lastly, some of you may have been here before. This is something we've done for several years at Riggs. It's part of a live radio broadcast, and it's a powerful message. And so I encourage everybody to give our speakers the utmost respect and attention, because this is an important message for everybody. With that said, I'm going to turn this over. We're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'm going to turn it over to Scott Lane, who will be the MC for the day. So if everybody would please rise. I pledge allegiance I will turn it over to the MC, Mr. Scott Lane. Thank you.
All right. Are you guys ready for this year? Hit and Drive, Stay Alive. 15 years for the Dakota Radio Group. That is amazing, so I want a big round of applause for 15 years for this. Over 12,500 students have been sitting in the seats you're sitting in right now and have gotten this message over the past 15 years. And to put it in perspective, you guys think about this. You go home, you get on Facebook, and you put a post on there. Tomorrow morning, you wake up and it's been shared 12,500 times. That's big numbers, isn't it? That's your job. That's the challenge I'm giving you guys for today as well. When you get this message, get out there and share it. That's for sure. In about 15 seconds, we're going to be live on all of the stations of the Dakota Radio Group, so we want you guys to look your best. So take a moment, look at the person to your left and right, make sure they're looking good for the radio. And I want to hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Scott Lane, the Lane Train, across the stations of the Dakota Radio Group, and we are here live at Riggs Theater in Pierre, South Dakota for Think and Drive 2017. Let's hear it from the kids here this morning. We were just talking off the air. 15 years the Dakota Radio Group has been holding Think and Drive, Stay Alive, and we couldn't be more proud. Over 12,500 students have gotten this message, and we just challenge the kids to get out there and get on Facebook and share that word after today's presentations. We've got some amazing speakers here today, and these people are going to be sharing their personal stories on good decisions either way, so you have options and choices for yourselves, kids, going forward. Without further ado, let's bring our first speakers out here. Amy lost her son Zachary when a drunk driver took his life in a hit-and-run accident while he was crossing the street. Haley was one of Zach's close high school friends. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Amy Johnson and Haley.
Good morning. Thank you. September 23rd, 2011. Two younger boys were walking home from a homecoming football game. Drunk driver came up from behind them, ran a stop sign in excess of 50 miles an hour, and hit both of them. Zachary died, and Nicholas was treated and released. So what you're going to look at now are crime scene photos. This is a photo of what a truck looks like after it hits a 6-foot, 230-pound, 16-year-old boy. And that's the dent that he made in that truck. That's a picture of Zachary's shoe. It's wedged up underneath the truck because the truck didn't stop when it hit him. It drove over him. The shoe was wedged up underneath the truck. And this all happened before 10 o'clock at night. They weren't out late. They weren't doing anything wrong. It just happened that some guy decided to start drinking in the afternoon. He went to the emergency room, followed the ambulance to the emergency room. We were there for what seemed like forever. And an EMT would keep coming out and asking us questions. Is he allergic to this? Does he have any problems with this kind of medication? Not once did anybody update us on his conditions. So it was probably around 10:30 when they finally came and told us there was nothing more that they could do. That he was gone, and they had tried everything. And when you're standing in an emergency room, waiting to hear news, you don't process that there is nothing more that we can do. Those words do not make any sense. I can remember looking at Zachary and telling him to wake up. And at that point, he'd already been gone for a long time. We said our goodbyes to Zachary in the emergency room. Now it's 5.5 years later, he's still gone. And our world is still upside down. You think back on what you could have done different. Is there a way that maybe this wouldn't have not happened? Should I have sent him a text and said, where are you guys at? Maybe if I'd sent him a text, he'd have stopped. Maybe they wouldn't have been on that street. And I can go back and forth between feeling guilty about this whole thing and knowing that it's not my fault. We did what parents are supposed to do. We told our kids to be careful. We told our kids not to drink and drive. We told our kids not to do drugs. We never once told our kids, don't walk outside. Because we never thought that someone would come along and hit them. Zachary was a typical 16-year-old kid. Did everything that you guys do. Plays video games. Was on a skateboard, had a girlfriend, had a job. Didn't like to go to school. Didn't like to do homework. Didn't like to do housework. Thought it was fun to argue with me. Always used his height. Go to the grocery store and say, hey, can you reach that? And he'd reach up and say yes, and he'd walk away. Well, it's really cute when your mom's only 5 feet tall and you're taller than her. And it's those kind of things that I think of on a daily basis. I remember Zachary saying, Mom, you've got to listen to this song, you'll really like it. Or he'd say, you got to watch this movie, it's really good. So I don't have that anymore. I don't have somebody to tell me to listen to a song or watch a movie. And I miss him every single day. I miss him. His friends miss him. And there isn't any way that any of us have found to make it better for anybody else. The man that killed him served 4 years and 1 day between jail and prison. He was released September 24th of 2016. He moved back to Minnesota, and as far as I know, he's still there. And it changed his life too, I'm sure, but not in the way that it changed ours. He still has his future, marriage, kids, house. Zachary got none of that. Zachary's friends, they all graduated from high school, went to college, got married, had kids. Zachary gets none of that. Zachary gets to be 16 years old for the rest of his life. His brother Nicholas, who was in the accident with him, is getting better now. He's moved on, he's got his own house, he's got his own car, and he seems to be doing okay. But he still won't talk about this. He still won't talk about what he saw, he won't talk about what he remembers. He just keeps it all inside. And at 21, I'm not going to pressure him into telling me what he remembers and what he knows, and it's just not good for him to have to relive that kind of thing. But my message to everybody is, this stuff happens. People drink, people drive, people are distracted behind the wheel of a car. This kind of thing can happen to anybody. Just so it happened to us. I wish it hadn't happened to us, but it did. And now I have to, because of something in me, keep reminding people, don't drink and drive. Get a designated driver. That is not that hard of a concept. It doesn't take very much to alter your perceptions when you've been drinking. And what may seem like nothing is actually a lot of alcohol. And the Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Department, they're not going to be easy on you, but they shouldn't be. Because you don't want to be the person in the pickup, and you certainly don't want to be the person underneath the pickup. And it's just a matter of time before it happens again. I don't know what Zachary would have been like, 22 years old. Probably an overachiever. He wouldn't have gone to college. Or he would have, and he'd flunked out and not said anything. But we don't ever get to know. There is no knowing. There's no going back. He's just gone. And we have to figure out how we accept that daily. Because in the back of my mind, I always remember that he's gone. But sometimes I do have to remind myself that he did live. It's not an easy life. And to see all of these kids that you think that nothing bad is ever going to happen to you. Just stop and think sometime that maybe it could. And how would you feel? And how would your parents feel? And how would your brothers and sisters feel? You know, you're texting back and forth, and all of a sudden a text comes in, you respond to it, but there is no answer. That's how fast this life disappeared. That is how fast it disappeared. The last couple texts on his phone are you okay? He didn't get to respond to those texts. That left a lot of people wondering what was going on. And that's what it's like. It's always wondering. There's no time. So just be careful. Don't drink and drive. Make sure that your parents know that you love them. Every day. Tell your friends you love them. It may seem odd, but it's not. Just let people know that you love them. Thank you.
That's Amy Johnson. We want to let the listeners know that you're listening to Think and Drive, Stay Alive 2017 on the Dakota Radio Group. We've got Haley Luke. She's going to come up and say a few words.
Hi everyone. My name is Haley Luke and my best friend, Zachary, was hit and killed by a drunk driver in September of 2011. He was such a beautiful soul and touched many people's lives in his short run of 16 years. This boy meant the absolute world to me, and we had so many plans for our future. After his passing, my life literally fell apart. I was already diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which Zachary had helped with tremendously, and the tragedy of his death was overwhelming to say the least. It was of course unexpected. There was no time for one last goodbye, and there was no time for one last hug. I couldn't go to school for a week or so after Zachary's death. Kids in my class who didn't know Zach personally would make conversation about the incident, which disturbed me, and I recall a couple times running out of class crying. I was so hurt over the fact that I would never get to hear his laugh or see his smile again. I felt alone and like no one understood how much this kid meant to me. I turned to drugs and alcohol, more so than I already did, to help cope with the reality of losing him. I turned into a liar and also a thief in some eyes. I would constantly ask my mom for money for things that I told her I needed, but would end up spending all of her money on drugs. It was mainly marijuana, but there were a few times I used meth and cocaine and tried any other drugs that were put in front of me. I didn't care to live a life without Zachary, so I thought doing drugs to numb my pain was my only option. I was on a path of destruction, and before I knew it, I was labeled as a drug addict. Many nights I would drop to my knees and scream to my best friend. The pain I felt seemed almost unbearable at times. For quite a while, I thought about him literally 24/7. I could barely focus on anything, especially school. I went into a phase of guilt and felt like I took our friendship for granted. I often think back to the time Zach and I shared, good and bad, and my heart will still to this day break a little more. This boy didn't deserve to have his life taken from him. I didn't deserve to have my best friend taken from me, but it happened, and I couldn't change a thing about it. I had to learn to live without it. I had to grieve. I dropped out of school at the beginning of my senior year, for other reasons too, but the deep depression I had developed from Zach's passing definitely had a toll on it. I was very irresponsible and self-destructive with drugs and alcohol at the time. The decision I made to not graduate has been one of my biggest regrets, which I will carry for the rest of my life. I, around this time, got a tattoo in memory of Zach. I feel honored to have loved such an amazing young man. It angers me to know that all this pain was caused by one man's drunken mistake. In an instant, I felt like my world was turned upside down and my future was ruined. After a long and painful few years, I found myself finally sober and was doing overall okay. Some days I'd even say good. I still struggle though, and there's still not a day that goes by that I don't think of my best friend. In 2014, I had my first son, Marcus Zachary. He was a miracle who I'm so thankful for every day. My life has definitely changed for the better since becoming a mom. I'll always miss my best friend, Zachary. Thank you.
And once again, welcome back to Think and Drive, Stay Alive 2017. Some wonderful speakers making this a very special day for everybody listening over the radio and here at the theater as well this morning. Our next speakers want you to know that the merry-go-round goes round and round when you're trapped in a life of drug addiction. This father and son team share their story, and afterwards they'll share their phone numbers to be a help to others. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Anthony and AJ Farinacci.
Hello, everybody. Hello. First of all, I want to just offer our condolences to Amy Johnson, who went through such a tragic thing with her son. Anything that we go through that affects our family and our hearts and our minds is just a tragedy that you just don't overcome. Drug addiction is one of them. As they said, my name is Anthony Farinacci, and my son, AJ Farinacci. We'd like to welcome everybody here to come together to make aware of the epidemic that's sweeping across this country. People are dying every day because they think they found something or they're looking for something. Today we're going to try to push everything we can into the time limit we have. And it's hard because what you go through over 13 years, it's hard to do that, but we're going to try our best and hope you get as much out of it as we do. First, too, I'd like to thank Diane Dice and the Dakota Radio Group for all the hard work for bringing this program to South Dakota. I think you'll find what you're going to walk away with today are going to be thoughts that you probably never had, knowledge you never knew. Some of it's going to be tough to hear, some of it's going to be tough to see. But one thing we don't do is sugarcoat life. It was a long road for me on that train with my son. I usually do a second part for parents, but the first part today is having him educate you all on awareness. I wrote a little paragraph that I want to read to kind of put an overview on what's going to be discussed. He's going to fill in all the gray areas. And all I ask is when I'm done reading this is that you know that parachutes work best when they're open. So keep an open mind, keep an open heart, and listen. And don't ever say, it can never happen to me. It's called That One Day. What happens when you feel I've made it? I did my time, I'm out of here. You may already have a family or a wife, maybe a girlfriend, even children. Now you're starting to run into people that you know and know why you were in jail or rehab. They don't trust you anymore, they look at you differently. Some you may have hurt along the way, you may have lied to, maybe borrowed money or stole from them. Now the pressure starts. It's time to get a new start, get a job, start working again. One of the questions that you will come across is, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Well, the first thing you're going to say to yourself is, well, I didn't need that job anyway. I'll go get another job. So you skip that. Then You figure once you get to the other job, the same questions come up. And they keep appearing over and over and over again. Depending on your circumstances, you may not be able to keep your driver's license. You may be able to handle it for a month or so because your friends and your loved ones who you've hurt along the way are encouraging you and giving you a positive reinforcement. It's not enough. The damage has been done. You had to try that drug that first time. You need that feeling again. And you say, that's right, as long as I can get that feeling again, I'm going to be okay. I can make this work. You never get that feeling again. Because then you chase and you mix all kinds of drugs. Nothing works. Then one day, your heart stops. Because you never realized how big the problem would get, despite what everyone has told you. Or maybe another person would have done something a little differently. But the results are the same. You may have heard many lives along the way. And if you do make it through, you get another chance maybe to do it over again and again. How many lives have been affected and hurt because of that one day you made that wrong decision? And until you've actually gone through it and lived it and know somebody, it's hard for you to really understand that. Well, my son, AJ, right now has been filling all those gray areas. And just remember, God bless you and keep an open mind.
Thanks, Dad. How's everybody doing? Just looking for one thing here and we'll get rocking. Okay. How many seniors do we have in the room here today? Can you raise your hand? Everybody clap for them seniors right now. Let's clap for them seniors. You know, to become a senior, it's tough. It is a long road. You're going to come across a lot of obstacles. And frankly, we don't really like school. We don't really like school. And that is going to become a problem if you cannot make it so school becomes fun. School has to become fun. And I will round this up for you, why school is so important as I move through this segment. Right here above me is I'm a senior in high school. I'm sorry, I'm a junior in high school. Me and my wife today, she's my wife, we're at the prom. As you can see, I got my patent leather Nikes on, which are pretty dope, right? And from that point until now, I have rolled out across the stage my rap sheet. For listeners that are not here, my rap sheet's about 50 feet long. I've been convicted 37 times, arrested on 11 felonies, 20-some misdemeanors, spent over 8 years in the county jail and in prison. I gotta tell you guys this because I need you to understand. If I had 8 lumberjacks up here, all with chainsaws, okay? And we had logs in front of those lumberjacks. And we were gonna watch them and see if we want to do that for a career. And why the first guy goes, he cuts his arm off. The next guy goes, he cuts his leg off. The next guy goes, he cuts another leg off. None of us are gonna be lumberjacks. I'll tell you that right now. None of us is going to say, that's the career I want, that's what I want to do, I want to become a lumberjack. It's the same thing. I'm going to give you guys a road to follow, and if you can learn from these experiences, I already did all the footwork. You guys don't have to do any of it. I'm not here to tell you not to party. I'm not here to tell you not to be a teenager or a college kid, but the decision making has to be on the money. Because if it isn't, it's going to haunt you. When I was a child, I was brought up in a good household. I had a great father, great mother, a great sister. None of them did drugs, party, nothing. It was straight edge in my household. I am a little different. I have an addictive personality. I'm an extremist. How many extremists out here? How many people take it to the most, to the max? All of you. I can see it in all of you. You too, right there. You're an extremist. What we need to do here is keep our ears open and listen, because it's tough as a teenager to know there's states out there that have marijuana legalized. There's alcohol that is sold on the shelves. This stuff is at our hands, right? It's at our hands. And what happens is it becomes not enough if you have that addictive personality, okay? Which we all have part of. We all have that in us. When I was a high schooler, I loved basketball. I loved basketball. Basketball was my passion. And due to my ego, my cockiness, my arrogance, my bullying, I got cut from the basketball team. And I know I was the best player in that gym. I know it. And when I got cut from that team, something happened that day. I felt empty. I felt like I had nothing to go. I felt like I had no mission, nothing to have the crowd clap for. We all like to get a sense of accomplishment. We all love when people say, hey, good job. Hey, you did good today. Wow, you're dressed nice. Nice kicks. You're looking good. We all love that. We strive on that as people. Okay? There's 5 things that I need you guys all to make sure you work on from here on out. Okay? There's 5 things. The first thing is your last name. Your last name is very, very important. Whether it's your grandfather, whether your uncle, somebody in your family has done well. Somebody in your family has made that last name something for you to carry on. Okay? Last name, very important. Okay? Your driver's license, very, very important. Your driver's license. There's 2, right? Your career. What do you guys have in store? Where are you going? What are your accomplishments? What do you want to do? And today, if you're sitting in these chairs and you do not have a goal or a passion or an occupation that you want to fill in your career, you need to think by the end of this segment and come up and tell me, because it's important. You need a vision, okay? Your social security number, very, very important. Your social security number, very important. And your credit score. And your credit score. These things sound very easy, but if I focused my life on those 5 things and not went to the use of drugs, I would be in a way better place than I am today. I am in a good place today. I'm clean, I'm sober. It's been about 5 years, right? And thank you back there, appreciate it. So I always hit the hookah, I always smoked OG Kush, I hit the barn, I hit the butt. I smoked constantly. It became, I got a little loud in here when I started talking about that. Everybody, ooh, got a little, OG Kush just got the room just boom, set great up. Anyway, here's the deal. It goes farther than that. And I know a lot of us are Xanaxing, taking bars. I know we're doing the lean, okay? The lean and the Xanax, here's the deal. It's going to push you to the meth and the heroin because it's not going to be enough, okay? I shot dope, heroin, cocaine, and smoked crack for 12 years straight, every day. That was my mission. Every day I would wake up, and that was my mission. Number one, how am I going to get 20 bucks for my bag? Okay? Number two, can I stay away from the house long enough so people don't catch on that I'm nodding, that I'm drooling on myself, that I'm not even coherent? Okay? And meanwhile, I am driving all through the cities and the towns while I am pumped through heroin. This lady right here just shared an extraordinary, that could have been me. That could have been me that hit her son. Okay? I nodded off at the wheel 10 times. I think I've been in 10 accidents in my life. Totaled vehicles. Crushed them. Once you get in the mix of addiction, there is no looking back. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody know that I'm a strong kid and I can tangle with the best of them? I lived in prison. I had to fight for my trade, right? This little guy, how can I eat? I had to fight every day. But heroin always beat me up. Always won. It's like getting in the ring with Mike Tyson and think you're going to win. You're not. He's going to knock you out. You're not going to win, okay? I ended up at the age of 18, 19 years old, and I'm backtracking on you guys a little bit, I'm sorry. Me and this wonderful lady here had a baby. We had a baby. At 18 years old. No vision, no credit score, no credit score, no vision, nothing. I had no direction on where I was going to go. And the responsibility of this child came into my life, and I got scared. So for all you ladies out here, I want you to listen up, because this is very important. My wife finished her senior year in high school having that baby. It was the hardest thing for her she's ever done, she says. She coped with it very, very well. Today she's a solid mother. We have 4 beautiful children. But I did not cope with it very well. I ran and ran and ran and tried to get as far away as I could. Okay? There's this little town down the road from us. Reminds me a lot of this little town. And I was telling my dad coming in here, if you guys, any of you have addiction in your mind, okay, or you have reservations to party a little bit, if you think you're going to create this long rap sheet and make it out of this little strip, it ain't happening. You will make a name for yourself in this town very, very quickly. And with that bad name comes a whirlwind of troubles, okay? Examples. Can I see the next film, please? Here we go. This picture right here, There's only 7 years in between the college, the high school picture and here. I look like I'm 50 years old. Okay? I want to make this come out correctly so you guys really get this. When you start, I guess, relying on a substance to get you up every morning, to get you out the door. See, I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't go to the movies because I didn't know if the dope man was going to be back. And if he was, I'm going to see him first. Forget my kid and forget my wife. I need the dope. I need to feel good. Once I feel good, I go about my day. Okay? And as this builds in you, as this addiction keeps building and building and building, you start testing yourself. You start being a little sneak thief. I stole my father's wallet and helped him look for it for an hour. Stole his wallet and helped him look for it. That's not right. There's something wrong, okay? And what happens is your opiate receptors, your meth receptors, you can say whatever drug you can put into place. Alcohol, pot, whatever you guys want to put in that place that you're struggling with. It will own you. It will own you. And I know a lot of you are probably looking at me like, listen, I went to the party Saturday night, we hit the hookah, we smoked the blunt, and it's no big deal. And I'm actually going to smoke a Dutch as soon as I leave here. But you laugh. But here's the deal. And the ones that get excited over this when I talk, it's good. You need to get excited. This is when you can get it out. This is when you need to talk about it. Because I never did as a child. Okay? I never talked about it. And in a matter of 5 years, I found myself shooting a bundle of heroin a day, smoking a 50 rock of crack, and then trying to take some Xanax to go to bed, because I've been up for 5 days. What we need to do as a group, as a community, you're not going to stop the parties. You guys are not going to stop the bonfires. We stayed out in the fields for days, weeks, and had awesome parties, and nobody got hurt, okay? But addiction was not involved. And when addiction gets involved, you will have nothing but horror, terror, okay? My daughter, when she was 3 years old, I was starting to get probably the worst I was ever, okay? I had about, 1, 2, 3, 4, at 23, about 5 arrests under my belt. And it didn't do nothing. I went to jail, I came out, and in a matter of, 3 days, I was back on streets running rampant, loving it. I thought, I actually did my hair. I started doing my hair again. So I knew I was looking good. As long as my hair was done, nobody knew I was a drug addict. You know, that was my mentality. Pretty crazy. When I got to about 25 years old, I should have stopped right there, went to my mother and father and said, look it, for the next 5 years, I'm going to be a drug addict. I'm going to steal from you. I'm going to take all your stuff and tell Grandma and Grandpa to either put their wallet away or I'm going to take that too when I come. They would have been better off as a family, okay? But I lied. I manipulated. I took them down a road of lying and being deceitful and believing my own lies. I'm believing my own lies. And the reason why I mention those 5 things, at the age of 25, if I had a vision on what I wanted to do and loved it, my career, I would have passion for something. I wouldn't try to be a criminal. I wouldn't try to make my inner self feel good. And if you find yourself using, at this point in time, today, where you sit, you're going to have to check yourself and find out what you're missing in life. Because you're missing something. There's something there that you are missing. And maybe your mom and dad can't help you with it. Maybe there's people out there that aren't even related to you that can help you with it. But if you're struggling and you find yourself today going down this road, you need to talk, man. You guys need to talk to each other. You need to make sure every day you tell one of your buddies, hey, you look good today. Hey, nice shirt. Anything to make him feel good. Okay? When I was 26 years old, I was in a Price Chopper parking lot. And I did not mention this in the beginning, and I apologize, but I was born and raised in upstate New York. Okay? I was born and raised in upstate New York, in a small little town. And in this town, this city, New York City, big lights, city of dreams, right? 2.5 hours away. The capital, 30 minutes away, which is Albany, New York. And these two places were drug infested. Okay? So I bounced back and forth through these two communities, hoping that the police retired by then, so they don't find me the next time I come through. Okay? When I reached my first prison bid, I got to an alternative to prison, my first bid. And it was called shock incarceration. And in shock incarceration, they test your limits. They talk about your mother. They talk about your sister. They say things that would make you want to either do drugs or get in a fight, one of the two. And it was a learning experience for me. I did this for 6 months, every day. Feet on the floor, make sure your locker's tight, press shirts, all this discipline. Everything that we thought was going to straighten me out. And in 3 months, I have relapsed on parole, and now I'm on the run. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this story is because you will not ever understand how powerful a substance can be. I was in a Price Chopper. I was actually there to steal meat, okay? Because I was going to go trade the meat. They had these little meat markets, and it was a little hustle. I could make 20, 30 bucks on the cuff. So I went ahead, and I went in the store, and I looked at the meat, and I'm like, you know, I'm only going to get like 20 bucks for this. And I am fiended out. I've been up for days. So I looked over, and I see this little old lady. She's sitting there with her cart, she's checking out, and I peep it. I saw the pocketbook sitting in the front. I'm like, I think I can do this, you know? So I went back out to my car, I opened my car door, okay? And I prepped myself for my getaway, my run, my escape route, if you want to call it. When I was in the store, I felt this terrible, terrible feeling. I'll never forget it. I reached, I grabbed her pocketbook, and I hit the door running. And I went to get in my car, and people are screaming. And all of a sudden, I look, and across the parking lot, these two guys are running. And I'm like, so I start cooking, booking, running as fast as I can. They tackled me. They beat the crap out of me. And these are pedestrians, okay? This is two pedestrians, okay? They took me to the county jail, and they called me the pocketbook, the old lady thief. And I got abused every day by inmates, calling me a punk, calling me a lot worse than I'm allowed to say on this radio station, and just destroyed me. My first 3 months in the county was terrible. Withdrawals like you would not believe. Withdrawals like you would not believe. Makes you, it's called kicking for a reason. When someone says you're kicking dope, or you're kicking meth, or you're kicking crack, or heroin, whatever the case may be, It is the most uncomfortable feeling in the world, okay? You are crawling out of your skin, and you're helpless. You stink, you're dirty, okay? And you're helpless. And I, every day, said to myself while I was in there, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm coming out, and right here is all the jail mail from only 1 month. I only brought 1 month. We're gonna have to take a quick break for the listeners, and I will be right back with you guys.
Once again, let's hear it for Anthony and AJ Farinacci. Put your hands together. You're listening to Think and Drive and Stay Alive 2017 on the Dakota Radio Group.
Whenever my brother was little, you could always find him playing in the dirt. He loved birds and plants and anything that was living or growing. He really taught me that everything in life, no matter how small it is beautiful. He was my best friend. My brother had just gotten done with his junior year in college, and he was getting this internship that he never thought that he would ever be able to get. Another intern and him were driving out to count some birds in the field. He was so distracted that he pulled out in front of the semi. The driver was killed on the scene, and my brother was taken to the Sioux Falls Hospital. And they got the CAT scan results back. They said that his burn injuries were catastrophic. My brother was so full of life, and he always had the reddest cheeks, no matter what. Even if he was cold or even if he was warm, it didn't matter. And his cheeks were pale. I didn't recognize anything about him. And I held my 21-year-old brother's hands while he died. Just because someone made one stupid mistake. I'm the only child. Nothing is worth that. No distraction is worth that. Before this happened to my family, to my brother, I never knew how big of an issue it was. And that I feel like that's the case with most people, is they don't realize how big of a problem this is until it happens to them or it happens to someone they know. My brother's accident was 100% preventable. It was my job to be his voice, since he couldn't do it himself. No matter who you are, if you are young, if you're old, if the person in your vehicle is texting, driving, or doing something they're not supposed to be doing, speak up. Tell them how concerned you are, not only about your safety, but also theirs. Distracted driving kills. Safe driving starts with you.
And welcome back to Think and Drive, Stay Alive 2017 on the radio stations of the Dakota Radio Group. We now rejoin AJ Farinacci.
You know, it's really funny how things work. Can everybody hear me all right? Okay. I stayed up last night and I wrote all these notes down and all this stuff I wanted to talk to you about, and I started going through my book. I couldn't find it. And I got a little flustered and I'm like, man, there's so much I gotta tell these kids. But I just found everything, so the second segment's gonna just rock and roll. Okay? Here we go. So, on the screen, this right here was my drug of choice, okay? And just so everybody understands, the name's on it, okay? A New World. Wow, New World you're gonna get in this needle. You're going to get a new world. Die Another Day, The Hulk, okay? All these different stamps is what titles the power of the drug, okay? So my goal was to keep the man who was ever selling the new world in my pocket. So if I had to lie to my family, if I had to steal from my family to make him feel better, as long as I got my stuff from him, we were all good, okay? We were all good. To jump back, because I really feel that a lot of you are going to be able to relate with this. I grew up, like I told you, in a family that I thought was perfect. And my father ended up cheating on my mother, and we ended up going through a big family divorce. How many people in here have been through a divorce? Yeah. Stinks, right? No fun. The way I coped with that was the way no man or woman should cope with any obstacle in life. Remember, I told you the 5 things that are important, right? That last name is number 1. But 5 things that are important. And this divorce destroyed me in the sense of trying to accept this woman. Is she my mother? Is she trying to play like my mother? And I'm a little older at this time, but I'll be honest with you, it was just as hard as if I was 5. Okay? And I want you all to know, if you're going through that, or there is a issue in your family, don't let it be your burden. Okay? Don't let it be your issue. You have one issue. You have one problem to do in this world as students, okay? And that is to graduate high school, have a degree, and provide to society and make a great, honest living and enjoy what you're doing. You have to enjoy what you're doing. And if I had that, I would have dealt with that divorce a lot different. I wouldn't have stole her credit card and racked up $5,000 on a credit card and I destroyed this woman, okay? And I made sure of it. And how I destroyed her was by stealing every day. Instead of going and talking about the issues, talking about the problems, telling her, hey, I think you ruined my life. I think you just took my mom out of my life. I didn't do that. I smiled, told her everything was okay. He patted me on the back because at the end of the day, the person, your father or mother, they don't know what you're feeling, okay? They're feeling a new feeling, a feeling of something they've been missing, and they're dealing with their issue. But when these types of scenarios happen, you need to stay grounded. You need to stay alert and talk to your friends and talk to people that care about you, okay? It's very important. And as this divorce went through, I got deeper and deeper into my addiction. I mean, it was bad. At one point in time, my daughter was 5 years old. I had a scam. I would put her on my shoulders, carry her. I would walk, tell somebody, knock on the door. Hey, listen, my car just broke down the road. Can I borrow 20? You know my old man, he's down the road. Well, I got you. Here's my driver's license. Can you hold on to my... At one point in time, I had a wallet with... Well, I did have a wallet for 9 years, but when I did have a wallet, everybody had everything for collateral. Who does that? Who takes their driver's license or their social security card and say, hey, can you hold on to this because I just need a quick fix? I'll be back in a little while. That's where this will take you. That's where this goes, okay? I today think about it. My daughter today is 17 years old. She's a senior in Harrisburg High School in South Dakota, and she's going to graduate May 21st. And that was my main goal. That's right, clap, buddy. Let's give that girl a round of applause. Yes, yes. She's going to graduate. And I do have 3 other ones, which they're gonna graduate, but my boys are gonna be tough, I know that. If they have anything like I have in my heart and soul, my boys are gonna give me a run for my money. But I know one thing, my kids are not going to be drug addicts. My kids will not, you know why? Because I told them about heroin and coke and crack and that and everything you can think of at the age of 8. And some of us might say, ooh, that's way too early. It isn't. Because at age 15, they'll be shooting it. Okay? At the age of 15, your kid, your friend, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, uncles, whatever the case may be, will be shooting dope if we don't talk about it. Will be guzzling a bottle of vodka. Okay? It's all the same. It's all the same. It's how our bodies relate to it and how we, as people, drive that train. Okay? Very important. When I got out of prison, I decided to start a business. Another one, my third business. Age of 26 years old, have started 3 go down to the building, doing business as, get my DBA, and start a new business. I would get business cards made up. I had a business called Samani and Sons. My son is Gianni, my daughter Samantha, so I put their names together and got Samani. And I was doing invisible fencing for dogs. Every client I put a fence up for, which there's only 6 of them, I stole whatever I could out of their garage. Hands down. Whatever I could take out of the garage is coming with me. Phone calls. Hey, Anthony, have you seen our generator? Oh, no. Well, no, I haven't seen it. And back home in upstate New York, we don't have pawn shops. We have a couple, but the cops check them out so quick, so we don't mess with the pawn shops. You got to go right to the street. You get rid of it right on the street. And what happens is people talk. People talk, okay? And you can trust one person in life, and that's yourself. That's yourself. Trust mom, trust dad, trust your... But if you don't have trust in yourself to make that right decision, you're going to regret it. And I never had trust in myself, ever. I never trusted myself. I always would second guess myself. I was wondering, am I good enough? Am I gonna make it? Right? So what I would do is, when I'm doing these jobs and I'm stealing from these people, plus collecting checks, being so deceitful, it went crazy, it went haywire. I had 3 cops at my house, generators were getting ripped out of my garages, my father is in his own yard, you know, and I'm standing there and I'm listening to him talk, and I still got him bamboozled. He's still defending me after 6 years. And that's what a father's love will do, okay? I know there's some of you out there that might say, not my dad, he doesn't love me. Every father loves you, okay? I don't care what anybody says. And if they don't, it's too bad for them, because we are all special people, okay? We were all born geniuses. I really believe this, and you can tell me I'm crazy if you want, but I believe all of us are born geniuses. I believe we degenetize ourselves throughout our lives. That's what we do. We degenetize ourselves throughout our lives. Okay? So at this point, at, what am I, 28, 29 years old? I'm going to show you guys something right now. And I'm not proud of it, and you guys will never know. But I wanted to make sure that you understand this statement. See this? That's a lot of drugs. For listeners, I have fake teeth. 8 years, all my teeth gone. Gone. Every one of them rotted to a core. Just shot. Okay? And if all you guys want to keep your pretty smiles, and, you know, keep that, because when you lose your teeth, the self-esteem is gone. It is gone. Okay? And I know we're talking about teeth, and you're probably like, well, what's it? No, it's the rebuilding stage of, if you ever are an addict and you ever end up where I was and you don't have teeth, it is much harder to come out of it. Why? I don't know, but it's hard, okay? You're embarrassed. What if you don't have enough money for dentures? What if you can't, get new teeth? I know, I have 3 friends left from shooting heroin. The rest of them are dead. And obviously you can tell how I talk. I had tons of friends. Tons. Friends for miles. Friends for days. Call anybody I wanted. Borrow money. Whatever. For only a short period of time. And when I lost my teeth, man, what an embarrassing point in my life. My wife still loves me, thank God. But very, very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Okay? And I just, I keep talking about the way you feel and what's your mission. I know for a fact, man, if I stayed in school and I didn't shoot dope and I didn't take it to these limits, because there's weekend warriors, okay? Which I have tons of friends that are weekend warriors. Tons. Okay? I don't preach to them. They have kids. They have a family. They're doing it. Some of us cannot be weekend warriors. Okay? And that's the problem with life and this drug nowadays, is people think that they can treat it like it's the keg party. Okay? People think like they can treat it like it's the tailgate, boot kicking, dirt flinging, fun weekend, and it's not. Okay? It isn't like the keg party at all. When you start getting into these types of prescription drugs, at this point in time, if I go in New York State and say my name in a hospital, a red X comes across the screen. Don't serve him. Do not serve him. I've had 10 doctors. 10 doctors. I had a sling. I had a fake sling. And I shouldn't be telling some of this stuff because, God forbid, I don't want anyone doing this at all. But I would have foot casts, fake slings. I'd go doc hop for days. I had 10 doctors prescribing me meds. Why? Because I can manipulate. Very, very easy. And 2, it's okay. It's prescription. It says my name on it. Come on. What's the difference if I snort it, or shoot it, or take it orally? It's a prescription. It says my name on it. And when I got to the point where no doctors, my mom's a nurse, nobody wanted to see me, nobody wanted part of me, that's when it got really bad, okay? That's when it got so bad that I was living in the shooting gallery. Bill Ivory, good friend of mine, is dead, okay? I watched him shoot 15 cc's of heroin. It's called Die Another Day. And he went out. And then I watched 5 other dope fiends run my buddy's pockets while he's out. Run his pockets. And do you know I never did anything about that? I never did anything like that. You know why? Because I got a little bit of what they took from him. That's my friend. Okay? And that's how dangerous this will get. You will watch others suffer as long as you feel good. You will watch others cry as long as you feel good. Okay? How much more time do I have? 10 minutes? Okay. I want to touch on a couple really important things here, guys, before you guys leave me here. And I want to make sure you guys understand where this is going to take you. Okay. Out of, my daughter today is 17 years old. I missed 9 birthdays. 9 birthdays. Never was there for my daughter's birthday. I missed 2 births of kids. 2 births. Locked up behind bars, talking to him, crying on the phone. How is she? Oh, she is? Oh, God. I know. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I read you some of these mail and you guys heard some of this stuff, it would make you want to throw up. Say, give it up, dude. You wrote that the last 15 times. You're not sorry. You're not done. It's not over with. And I always said to myself that I know this ain't going to be me. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. It's that my father's throwing me little cue cards here. You know, doesn't want me to leave anything out. Christmas. I spent one Christmas with my daughter. And it was at Daytop, a therapeutic community, where I went and I dug my own grave. I scrubbed the sunlight off the building. I shoveled snow with a tablespoon. I wore a binky around my neck. I wore a diaper in front of everybody. And that's what these therapeutic communities did back then. They've changed some things up now. But talk about being humiliated. But I spent one Christmas with my kid. She came out to see me. Everybody showed up. And when she opened this American Girl doll present, man, I thought I was hot stuff. I showed everybody in Daytop, look at, I got my kid American Girl doll. I told my wife, don't even take the price tag off either. I want everybody to know I got money. I have no money at this time. I have no money. And here I am in a therapeutic community, still trying to be the center of attention, still trying to be the best, still trying to take it to the top. Okay? And when I left there, it just kept going on and on and on. Non-stop. It just never, for some reason, it never stopped. It just never stopped. And we had breakdowns. I would go to the hospital and, I went to 18 rehabs, 7 detoxes. 7 detoxes. Who does that? I mean, isn't it enough? Not for me. Nothing is enough for me when it comes to drugs. Okay? I still think about it every day. It comes across my mind. But at one point in time, I had enough. I had enough. My daughter, Samantha, she came to visit me, and I'll never forget her looking at me. And mind you, she's normal. She would walk right through the metal detectors. This was a normal day thing for my daughter to go to prisons and rehabs and detoxes to see me. It was our way of communicating. That's when we had the best relationship. Imagine that. You have your best relationship with your kids because you're incarcerated. Who does that? I mean, I couldn't do nothing for her. I couldn't provide for her, but still, I get back to the tier. Yo, did you see my girl? She's looking good. Oh, my kid. And here I am boasting in the prison system. Okay? This prison system is a dangerous place to get involved. The system, frankly, is terrible. And I'll be the first one to say it. Because when you get out, when you get in, it is so hard. I was on parole and probation. I was peeing in a cup and getting drug tested for 11 years straight. Okay? I have bought every flush drink, every Whizzinator, every tablet you can think of to try to get the drug out of my system so I could pass the test. I even brought my kids' urine in. How's that? I even brought my kids' urine in. My wife said, what are you doing? I said, hey, I got to do this. She goes, don't you do that to our kid. I got to do this. Okay? That's where it'll take you. No one in this room right now would even remotely think of taking their kid or their little brother and take their urine and bring it to the probation officer and say, see, officer, I'm doing good. Everything's good. Meanwhile, I have holes burnt in all my clothes. Okay? When you get in the system, it's tough to get out. And I'm here today. I want to emphasize to all of you, this is so important, guys. There's 5 things that you got to remember, right? My last name, my driver's license, my social security card, my credit score. And I need a vision, a passion on something I'm going to do. Whether you're a hairdresser, a nurse, a doctor, a writer, or reader. I don't care. You need to pick something. You need to pick something. What I picked was dogs. That's what I picked. I picked dogs. I'm passionate. I'm a big pheasant hunter. I got short hairs, I got wire hairs, and I have this American Bulldog. Can we hit the next one, baby? I'll take it to the next. The Columbia County Jail had a program called New Leash on Life. And you had to be a special inmate to get New Leash on Life. Well, guess what? When I got picked to go in the New Leash on Life program, that's the first time in my life I felt like I was somebody. I felt like, man, they like me. They want me to do the dog program. And that's sad to have to get acceptance from inside the bricks. We should be getting acceptance out here. We shouldn't have to go inside the bricks to feel like we fit in and people like us. Okay? We should not have to do that. Well, there's a program that I had a big part of, and it changed my life. It changed my life, man. This pit bull came in, he was run down, he was beaten, he looked like crap, he wouldn't let me pet him, his breath stunk, he was dirty, just like me. Just like me. And I said, wow, man. We became best friends. That was my dude. He's a dog, and I talk to him. I know, it's a little weird. But when you're in behind the walls, you'll talk to anybody. You'll talk to bricks. It doesn't matter. It changed me. And the help with my higher power, and we all have our own different higher powers. Some of us, you know, God, some of us dirt bikes, some of us fast cars, or whatever it is. Mine is God, okay? Mine is God. And I, to myself, every day, worked on my individual self, and I worked on that dog. And every time I changed something in that dog, I changed something in myself. Every time. And at the end of this 8 months in the county jail, which is a long time, that's a county year, okay? So they'll give you some time credit. But 8 months in the county jail is a long, long time. Long time. But I didn't want to leave at the end. I felt safe there. I felt institutionalized. I felt almost at peace. I knew it was, and believe me, I could have got high hundreds of times in jail, and I did in the beginning. All these jail stints, I mean, I don't know, there's 15, 16 pictures of mugshots laid on stage. There's 50, you know, arrest records. But the dog program changed me. And today I have a facility, a friend of mine is building in Harrisburg, South Dakota, and I hope some of you guys can come out and see it. It's going to be a dog daycare fitness center. We're going to have agility, we're going to have dog pools, we're going to have a lot of fun. And I'm hoping to get this program started for kids that are like me, that want some accomplishments, that feel like they just don't know how to get it. I'll tell you, when the dog listens to you, maybe it's a sense of power. Whatever it is, who cares? You're not getting high, right? So here's the deal, guys. I know we got to wrap it up. I want to leave this with you. I have a Facebook page, and I'm telling you, I want to hear from all of you. And this Facebook page is just for things that are good, okay? I want good accomplishments. It's called Crush the Addiction. It has the American flag. And if you get good grades, you get whatever accomplishment you did that week, I want you to post it. And I'm going to talk to you. My 17-year-old will talk to you. And we're going to communicate. We're going to keep all this heavy stuff out of this beer district. Because there's no reason for it. The only reason for meth and heroin is for unhappiness. And South Dakota is not unhappy. We are not unhappy people. I want to thank all of you. I appreciate it. I hope we can talk again. Okay? Remember, don't Don't hate the players, hate the game, because the game is nasty, okay? You can always be a player in any game you want. You can be gangster, you can be thug, you can be country. It doesn't matter. We're free. We're allowed to live our own lives. But when you start mixing substance, you're going to go down the hill. Please hit me up on my Facebook page. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You're listening to Make It Drive, Stay Alive 2017 on the Dakota Radio Group. I promised to give out the telephone numbers as well. We're going to go ahead and give those out. Anthony's telephone number is 518-727-3091, and I'll repeat that for Anthony, 518-727-3091. And for AJ, that phone number, 605-929-0400. Once again, 605-929-0400. And be sure to check out their Facebook page as well. What's the name of that Facebook page?
Addiction.
Crush the Addiction?
Addiction. And just look it up. And when something good happens, like you go to a party and you don't do drugs and everyone else is doing it, you come home, post it.
There you go. It'll be a great, positive, feel-good site.
Hey, listen up, guys. Do I need a mic or can I just rattle off? Okay, check it out. Wow, it's a lot easier to talk about that mic because I want to go like this. You know, this was like, I have to stay restrained. Here's the deal. Crush the Addiction is a Facebook page that I don't want it to turn into just garbage, okay? But there's a lot of you that do awesome stuff. There's sports players that crush it. Nobody says, hey, they may. But to really get strong feedback and have 1,000 people tell you you did a good job, or 6,000 people, it's a different feeling. Parents, same thing. You do something good for your kid, or your kid does something good for you, and you want to post it, post it. But like I said, it's for accomplishments, man. It's for what you're doing in life and where you're at. If you post, hey, guess what? I think I know my career. I'm a senior, I'm halfway school, but I'm going to be a nurse. I will rock that out for you, and I will support you 100%. Okay? I'm in Harrisburg, South Dakota, Sioux Falls area. Like I said, my daughter's 17. She's got an awesome group of friends. We're having a graduation party this year. If anyone's down that way, you guys want to meet some good teams, new people, you're more than welcome to. Come on down. And if you have any questions, like I said, my number is 605-929-0400. I use voice text. So if it comes back crazy, I didn't type it, I said it and reported it wrong. Okay. All right, have a good afternoon.
And welcome back to Think and Drive, Stay Alive 2017 along the radio stations of the Dakota Radio Group as we're broadcasting live from Riggs Theater. We've had some wonderful speakers here this morning, haven't we? Put your hands together for these speakers so far. Our final speaker, her name is Ivana. And Ivana shares the impact the decisions that you make every day can have on your ability to live the life that you want to live. Please put your hands together for our next speaker, certified health coach, Ivana Johnson.
Thank you all, thank you. Wow, there's a lot to think about this morning, isn't there? That's pretty awesome stuff. So what I want to try and do is kind of bring some of this all together for you guys. We make lots of decisions every day. We've heard of some examples of some not so great decisions, and those are going to happen. We're all going to step across that line sometimes. And what I'm hoping to be able to bring home to you right now is that some are bigger than others. So first of all, think about how many decisions have you already made today? Can you guys think just the processes that you've gone through today? In reality, every day, it's not just hundreds, it's thousands of decisions. And some of those decisions that you make are conscious decisions, and some of them are just, your robot brain just does it. You just do it so automatically, you're not even thinking of it and were aware of it. The first decision you made today was when your alarm went off. Did you hit the snooze button? Maybe once, twice, 3 times, or did you bounce out of bed and hit the road running? Honestly, that decision really started last night when you set the alarm. Did you set it so that you allowed yourself enough time to get up leisurely and get ready? Or did you eke it down to that last calculated minute when you knew you could hop up, do what you got to do, and rush out, and just hope you get to school in time without tardy? Those are all decisions. Other decisions that you made today was what were you going to have for breakfast? Or did you eat breakfast? Maybe you're one of those that just runs out of the house with a Pop-Tart. Who knows? What you were going to wear today, what jacket you were going to wear, who you were going to ride to school with, all kinds of things like that you're thinking about all the time. And in reality, some of those you weren't thinking about because you just do the same kinds of things every day and it just happens. You may argue that in some of those you don't have a choice because your mom makes you do it a certain way or your mom makes you up or whatever, but that in effect is a decision in itself by letting her decide for you. So you kind of need to be aware of some of that. Another decision that you guys made was to be here today. Now, I'm pretty sure that if I asked each of you individually, you'd all say, oh no, I didn't get to decide that. They made me come. And that's probably true. But you get to decide what you're going to do about it. Are you going to sit here and think about the things that everybody talked about and figure out how you can apply that to your life? Or are you going to be cool, sit back, let it roll off, and walk out of here the same person you walked in? I'll tell you what, if you can do that after listening to the speakers that we've had this morning, I'm really impressed because there were some pretty powerful stories happening here today. You know, I had the choice whether to be here today too. And I'll be honest with you, there's a part of my brain that would have really loved to have just stayed in bed this morning and skipped this whole series, standing on the stage talking to all of you. Not to mention the fact that there's a whole bunch of people listening on the radio out there. Yeah, it's a little intimidating. But I had a reason to be here. It was really important for me to come and reiterate to all of you how important these decisions are. You see, this is the 15th annual Think Drives Their Life. I've been here 2 other times because I've had loved ones stand on this very place, on this very stage, and talk about the consequences that their loved ones made that caused basically fatality. They died because of the choices they made. And I'm hoping that if there's something that I or any of the others said today that can change that for all of you, it will have a good effect. You see, years ago, I had a cousin who, even though she was old enough to know better, she hopped in the car with a friend after they'd been drinking. And they rolled the car, and she died. And her sister stood on the stage, and actually, a few years later, actually it was her daughter, many years later, told the story about how that impacted her life when she grew up without a mama. Unfortunately, shortly after that accident, her sister, my cousin's sister, my other cousin, had a daughter who hopped in her car on her way home from school one day, rolled her car, and died. And she did that, I mean, it wasn't, she just hopped in her car. We do that all the time. She made the decision, consciously or not, to not wear her seatbelt that day, and she didn't survive that accident. So, we don't know if she wore it every other day or not, and it really doesn't matter. The reality is that one time is what it took. So, in both of those situations, we don't really know everything that happened that led up to those things, but we were left with a big hole in our lives. We've heard some really compelling stories here today. We heard Amy and Haley talk about losing Zach. Zach didn't do anything that day that caused that to happen to him in his life and to change their lives forever. But the guy who was driving the car, he made a lot of bad choices that day. The consequences were something that he would have never done. He wouldn't have made those choices had he known that that's where they were headed. Anthony and Adrian, what a powerful talk. And again, if anybody had told AJ that he was going to grow up and be an addict, he would have laughed at him. He said, no way, I got this. that just those tiny decisions that you make day in and day out culminate into the big things that become our lives. There were lots of decision points in both of those stories. Some of them were fatal, and others, while not fatal, were just devastating to our objective to living life to its fullest. You've got to decide what you're going to do with the information that you got here today. Will you use it to change some of your habits and make better choices? Or will you forget about it when you walk out of this room and subject yourself to possibly making some of those same mistakes? I know that before today, you've all been told many times, wear your seatbelt, don't get in that car with somebody that's been drinking, don't text and drive, just leave the phone alone, it'll be there when you get done. The list goes on and on. Do you listen? Probably not. I'm guessing that sometimes the smart part of your brain is like, yep, I got this. And then other times you just do it out of habit. You don't even think about what you're doing. But we get busy, we get lazy, we don't always remember those important things. But and part of the problem with that is that you did it once and nothing happened. So it's like, I'm good. See, I can do this. I got it. Maybe once in a while something will happen and you'll have a little bit of a scare. You'll swerve a little bit and oh wait, and then you're like, oh, I'm good. See, I was able to recover from that. It's just that one time something can happen and it can be devastating. So just remember that. So Anthony was right on, not Anthony, AJ was right on earlier when he talked about how important it is to see the future. The future is what's going to help you make good decisions today. So what I want to do is take you all through a little exercise, and I want you to play along with me here. So first of all, I want you to close your eyes. Let's do it. Close your eyes, drop your shoulders a little bit, get relaxed, get into this. I want you to think of where you are going to be 5 or maybe 10 years from now. Think about that life that AJ was talking about. Or think about that perfect day. For me, I'm on the beach. I hear the ocean lapping on the shore. The gulls are singing in the background. I feel the sand between my toes, the sun warming my skin. I can smell the salt in the air, and the gentle breeze flattering my throat. What's your perfect day look like? Think about it. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? What are you wearing? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you feel? Build on that image. Just go with it. Go wherever your mind takes you. Just think of that perfect spot. Okay? Now take a deep breath and just turn up the volume on that beautiful day and how awesome that is. Really feel every aspect of it. Are you two on the beach? Maybe you're on a mountaintop somewhere. Or you've just opened your brand new store and all your inventory is there and you're ready to take off. Or you're in your big corner office making the big pitch of your life. Or you're in that room full of your audience and you're going to make your performance, whatever it is, basketball court, it doesn't matter, as long as it's your dream. Okay, open your eyes again. Now, I want you to think about the choices that you need to make to get yourself there. Are you ready to make those choices? Some of them you have to make will be really hard choices. And others, for example, you may have to skip a movie or a party that you want to go to study for a test. Others may involve missing a fun trip you want to go on because you need to attend an event or something like that. There are going to be times when you are really going to have to stretch yourself hard to be able to do the things you need to do to get yourself to that point that you want to be at someday. But you can do it. I know each and every one of you can. But first, you have to decide that you're going to do it. Are you prepared to put yourself in those scary positions and take the risks that are possibly going to fail once in a while to ensure you get what you want? Here's the deal. Life is full of choices. Some, if it worked out right, can make you stronger, better, healthier, happier. Others take us in the opposite direction or slow us down. We've heard about some really extreme examples there today. Others yet can take your dreams away and possibly even kill you. So before you get in that car over there, or you take that hit, I can't even talk the lingo that AJ was talking about. Or before you get in the car without your seatbelt on, or drive too fast, think about the cost of if something goes wrong. With the risk that you win, with some risk you're going to win big. With some you're going to come out even, and others you're going to lose. And only a few will be complete game changers. Which are the ones? Know which ones are which and be prepared to choose accordingly. If you haven't quite come up with that dream on your own, and sometimes you have to really practice at this, to really think about what's going to help you get through some of those hard decisions in life. Just do that, practice. Figure out what and who you want to be. Try it on. And if you aren't there yet, find somebody who loves you and talk to them about it. Find out what their dreams are for you. Ask your folks, ask your grandparents, what do you see me doing someday? Where would you envision me living? The reality is that whether you reach that dream for them or not isn't what's important. What's important is that there is a dream there and that they are there rooting for you and willing to help you. If you die in a car crash tomorrow, their dreams are gone too. If you are lucky and are only injured, you can still be set back physically or financially from reaching your dreams for years. It could also devastate your family financially. The question is it worth it for a few minutes of fun to express your right to choose? You won't always have a lot of time to make the right decision, so you need to draw your parameters now, basically, for what you will and you won't do. What are you willing to do? We're done.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Bob Johnson. We'd like to thank the schools that are here today. We'd like to thank all of the instructors and the teachers as well. We'd like to thank everybody listening back on the radio stations of the Dakota Radio Group. You have been listening to Think and Drive, Stay Alive 2017 on the Dakota Radio Group.